Hello there, friends. So, if you've seen my Sonic, then you know I am a 13th Doctor fan. I just went back to rewatch all of season 12 because it's been a minute. I did watch all of it, but none of it stayed in my brain hole. So I went back to fill the brain hole up with the season 12, what happens in it, and the Timeless Child, and all of that good stuff. And I have some things to share with you because, good lord, season 12 is kind of weird, okay? And I say that with much love for a lot of the folks that worked on this season and on this show. Jodie Whittaker, I'm looking at you. So, let's talk about it. So, I guess I'll start this off by saying that I tend to be the type of Doctor Who fan that I really love the serial nature of Doctor Who. I love a Doctor Who space travel, time-wimey adventure where we travel through time and space and just go on a fun adventure in an episode. Meet some new characters. You got the companion, you got the Doctor. You know, it's a good time. Pochita knows what I'm talking about, right, Pochita? So that's what I like to see, and I enjoy all the lore of Doctor Who. Don't get me wrong, but I tend to put it on while I'm doing something. It tends to be a show that, like, you know, I'll put it on when I'm doing something, and then sometimes I'll just have these binges where I'll just sit down and just, like, mind-numbingly stare at the screen as I watch a whole season of Doctor Who in one sitting. So I get kind of both sides of it, but that tends to be what my favorite moments are like the singular adventures that are so iconic that they stay in my mind. Now, that being said, I do like an overarching story. I do like when we have something that's changing the status quo a little bit and adding to the lore of the show. And I like when, you know, companions are being established. This season was weird for me because it feels like we're doing both of those things, but not in any way where they work together. In fact, sometimes I would say those are opposing each other. I think the stuff that I liked the best was kind of the beginning of season 12. Let me make sure my episodes are right. I need an episode list here. I don't want to say anything wrong and embarrass myself. Season 12 episode list. I'm embarrassing myself in front of all the other Whovians. They're going to be like, do you even watch it? Do you even know? I don't actually think... Do we do that as fans? We don't do that as fans, right? So I did really like Spyfall. I really like a lot of the stuff with the Master in this season. And, I mean, I love a lot of the characters that we're being introduced to. I love the Fugitive Doctor. Ultimately, you know what I think it is? I think that 10 episodes, it just feels like not enough episodes to do everything that we want to do. But you know what? Season 13 is even shorter. No, that can't be true. That can't be true. How is that possible? What? I mean, I think we really just needed a few more episodes this season for it to feel proper. It just felt disjointed to me, season 12. There's a lot of things that I like about it, and then there's stuff that I'm just like, feels weird. What's happening? I like characters returning. I like that Jack showed back up. I mean, let's just go through the episodes. This is getting so chaotic. I feel like I'm traveling through time. I feel like I'm in the TARDIS and I'm like, whoa. I'll just go through the episodes here and we'll talk a little bit about it. So, I liked Spyfall Part 1 and 2. I liked everything sort of with the Master that we built up and how the Master's kind of like this spy master in this era of Doctor Who. Also just very well performed. Sacha Dhawan plays the Master in season 12 and is so good, and it's just both him and Jodie I think are just fantastic, and watching them on screen together, it's like electric. They're really fun together. Orphan 55 was interesting, a little bit of mystery. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror is like one of my favorites, I think, in this season. I mean, we're traveling back in time, we meet Nikola Tesla, we talk a little bit about his life. I love when there's stuff too that's like historical, that's like from our time period. Like, I like alien stuff too, but it's fun when you're traveling through time and there's like going on adventures with people like from our history. I don't know why I love that so much, but I really love it. Fugitive of the Jadoon was cool because it kind of builds in that mystery of, you know, this other doctor that clearly the doctor doesn't remember. So that was cool. Praxis was kind of okay. I wasn't super into that one. And yeah, it just felt, I don't know, it didn't feel like the threat was high enough in that. So people are basically getting consumed by this virus that was brought here by like aliens who are trying to like cure the virus, and it makes you turn into like rocks and then you explode basically. And yeah, Praxis was just not, I don't know. It felt like a lot of people running around panicking, but like I didn't feel the stakes were high enough, if that makes sense. And there's just too many characters in it. I mean, I think this was something I was reading in the reviews for season 12, and I do think this is an issue. Season 12 just has too many characters in the main cast, even, and it's hard because we only have 10 episodes. So it's really hard to like develop the characters, get a strong sense for them, because there's so much to cover in so little time. So I kind of wish, although I love the fam, I do wish the Doctor was more just having like one companion. And I think maybe the next season she does go down to having one companion, but I hope that's what happens, because it just feels like a lot. It just feels like a lot for how much time we have to develop everything. Can You Hear Me is an interesting one that I feel like is planting seeds for something that could come back to haunt us later. So I liked how that one kind of leaned into the lore but kind of leaves it open-ended as to what might happen with that later. That was kind of a fun, creepy episode. The Haunting of Villa Diodata was really fun. Once again, we're traveling back in time. We get to go see Mary Shelley. That was really cool. And I liked how it's like a sort of spooky, like ghost story vibe, but then it's like Cybermen. And then we get into the Ascension of the Cybermen, which I really didn't like that episode. I'm just going to be bluntly honest about it. I thought The Haunting did a better job of bringing the Cybermen into it and making the Cybermen feel like there was going to be something really cool. And then in Ascension of the Cybermen, it just felt like we were sprinting through the episode. So you don't really get any time to like sit or feel like any stakes, even though this is supposed to be like the end of the human race. I just felt like I was struggling to keep up with everything that was going on, and I felt like because we didn't have enough time to really build up the Cybermen, they just showed up in the last episode, and now all of a sudden we're thrown into this. They didn't feel like a giant threat like they normally do when they show up. So yeah, I just wasn't really vibing with that episode. And then that leads into the Timeless Children. And I think that's really the bulk of what we need to talk about here. So I'm sure you're probably wondering how I felt as a fellow Whovian about the Timeless Children and all the revelations therein. And I just want to say, well, I understand why the Timeless Children was so divisive among fans. I feel like it divided a lot of people because, I mean, it's retconning lore. It's adding in new lore that wasn't there before. It's literally changing up who the Doctor is in a way. So it's very bold what's being done with this season finale. However, I think it's also really cool in the sense that it's trying to do something that I feel like we have yet to do. It's going back to the past and literally rewriting it and opening up so many doors for what we could do with the Doctor next. So I think it's a shakeup that we kind of needed a little bit at this point, but I don't know if it's like maybe too little, too late. Like maybe we needed this. Honestly, we kind of got something a little similar, but it wasn't as bold as this, and we might have needed something this bold back when like Matt Smith was Doctor Who. I think ultimately the idea that the Doctor is basically the one that was used to create the Time Lords because she's the timeless child, and that whole revelation is like a cool story on paper. And I love everything they did with the Master with it, with the Master finding out this dark history and like kind of going insane again. I like all of that. I like the fact that the Time Lords kept this secret because I think it makes sense based on what I know of the Time Lords. I just feel like they're very like secretive. They're a very secretive bunch who sometimes make morally questionable decisions based on what I remember of them from the show up to this point. So I felt all of it fit pretty well. But what I don't like about it is I just feel like we got like maybe 3 breadcrumbs for it this season. And then all of a sudden it was like everything all at once. And there's really no time to build it up. Like, I almost feel like we should have had Fugitive of the Jadoon as like our first episode if that's what we're gonna do. It feels like the season is trying to do too much in too little time, and because of that, the gravity of certain moments and situations and stakes get like lost in the shuffle. So overall, I feel like season 12 was kind of mixed for me, and the Timeless Child isn't necessarily a storyline that I dislike. In fact, I would say overall, I do like it, but I just wish we had had a little bit more time to like take it in. I think the fact that it was like slapped in everybody's face kind of in one episode, which I understand is supposed to be the revelations, but it just felt kind of shocking. And the story that we get of Brendan in the Ascension of the Cybermen being like the Doctor story and those parallels, it felt like they were trying to basically give us more time to absorb it and give us a clue. And once again, it feels like you're trying to do too many things there. Like, I'm like, either give us like something to munch on early on and have us like think about like, what was that? And like, why was that in there? So we can really think about it, as opposed to being like, what was that last episode? And then being like, oh, it was this. Okay, answer immediately. It was less of a mystery for me, and it just felt weird. It just, yeah. So I don't know, there's stuff that's really good and stuff that's really weird about this season, and I'm excited to watch season 13 because I really do like Jodie. I didn't know it was such a short season, though. That sucks. As a fan of the 13th Doctor, why is it so short? Is it because season 12 did really bad? We were having 13 episode seasons, you know, for quite a while here. Up until Capaldi, we shrink down to 12, and then we shrink down to 10. I need more time if you guys are going to be expecting, if we're expecting these big revelations to happen, we really need to take our time with that stuff, I think. I want to have an overarching story, but I don't want it to come at the cost either of like fun one-off adventures. I want everything to feel like it's being developed organically. And this, I think because it was just had to move a little faster, just didn't feel quite as organic. Even though I think the ideas that we had in this season with the Master and with the Cybermen and with the Time Lords and Gallifrey and the Timeless Child and all of that stuff was really cool. Like, these are all really cool ideas. We just don't have enough time. And the Fugitive Doctor. And I think it's cool that we can now go into the past and see other versions of the Doctor that we don't even know about. Like, that is so cool. But how will we have time to do it if we keep shrinking the seasons? Like, how long is season 14 supposed to be? Season 14 Doctor Who. How many episodes are we gonna get? 8 episodes. 8 episodes? That doesn't seem long either. What? I'm so confused. I mean, I guess we're getting 3 specials. And they're all going to be Russell T Davies, so I think that'll be fun. But 8 episodes is not enough time. No. I hope season 14 does really well, because I think we need more episodes, and I hope we can afford to do more in the future. However, that being said, I am still excited to watch season 13 and see what it does with 7 episodes. What can one do in 7 episodes? Let's find out together. Thank you so much for watching this rant/review of Doctor Who Season 12. I hope that you enjoyed it. And let me know what your thoughts are on the Timeless Child sort of reveal and all of that story arc and the lore implications down in the comments. Also, who are your favorite Doctors? Do you love the 13th Doctor? Do you not love the 13th Doctor? Do you love the 10th Doctor like so many do? Let me know down below. I do want to discuss with you all. And yeah, did you also feel like this season was weird? It's really weird too, because I remember really loving season 11 when it happened. And then season 12 was just such a mixed bag. And going back to watch it, I'm like, yeah, this was such a mixed bag. And the first time I watched The Timeless Children, everything went over my head. I feel like I was so confused as to what I had just watched. Going back, at least I know what I watched, and now that I've revisited it, but good lord, that's a lot of stuff. Good time, lord, that's a lot of stuff. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay nerdy.